Hi, my name is Kurt Weidner. What I'm going to talk about today is the organization that I belong to runs an ambulance service as well as a dispatch center. And the issue that I'm going to talk about has to do with the relationship between dispatchers and street staff or ambulance crews, and how we can, and the relationship that they have between them, and some of the issues that they have, and how we can resolve those issues or work to resolve those issues. So the summary of the issue we're going to talk about has to do with dispatchers and their relationship with ambulance crews or street staff. And the issue typically comes down to how ambulance crews are dispatched. When a dispatcher is dispatching an ambulance, they look at a few different things. They look at the type of call. They look at the ambulance location. Is the crew that they're going to send, are they closer or going to get there faster than another crew? And they also look at the ambulance crew's end of shift time. If I send them on this call, is it going to extend them over the end of their shift time when I've got another crew that's as close as they are? Each of the areas that we run dispatch for and service ambulances for have deployment plans. There's currently 18 different deployment plans. They're all very similar, but they have many of them have a lot of differences in specific little things. And the problem is the people that work in these specific areas know those deployment plans. So meaning our street staff and our dispatchers move around in the dispatch center, so they're dispatching different areas at different times of the day on their shifts. And this sometimes brings up disagreements between the dispatchers and the street staff. Dispatchers and street staff have different views on when they're looking at whether they should have been dispatched to a call or not, or that they should have been moved to a different post versus another crew that should have been moved. Sometimes it comes down to a crew having a personal want versus doing what's right. We'd like to think that that doesn't happen, but that does sometimes come into play in this. And street staff want consistency from dispatcher to dispatcher when it comes to dispatching. So the perceived issue here is power. Who's driving this? Sometimes there's resentment that builds between the street staff and the dispatchers, and some of it has to do with simply that the street staff, despite knowing how dispatching works, they resent being told where to go, when to go, and how to go. They know the deployment plans, or they think they know them, and when the dispatchers don't follow that, there's frustration that builds on the street staff side. They question the dispatcher's decisions that they have made, and they might air those frustrations and questions over the air, or they might call up to the dispatch center and talk to the dispatcher or the dispatch supervisor and explain why they feel that they are right and the dispatcher was wrong. And if they don't get anywhere with that, they'll turn to management and complain to them because they feel they're right, the street staff feel they're right, and that the dispatcher has made a wrong decision. Sometimes dispatchers assert their power by telling a crew that, no, you're wrong and this is what you are going to do. I have made a decision and you will respond on this call. Dispatchers sometimes feel that they have the bigger picture than the crews on the street because they have all these screens they're looking at and they know what's going on in the system, and the street staff is only looking at a small piece of what they're doing. So they really feel like they are empowered by this. Street staff sometimes feel when something has gone wrong that if they speak up, that to the dispatcher or to somebody in leadership, that they're going to get a target put on their back by that dispatcher. So they may not speak up and say anything, and they feel that they don't have the power when it comes to that, and they don't want to be put into that situation. So a potential issue here is mission. Where are we going? So our company's mission statement says that we serve our communities by providing exceptional care as we prevent illness, restore health, and provide comfort to all who entrust us with their care. Both dispatchers and street staff understand what the mission is, they just don't always agree about how to achieve the mission. So the real issue here has to do with meaning. Why are we doing this? Questions get asked all the time. Why are the dispatchers dispatching the way they do? And why do the street staff react the way that they do? When it really comes down to what values are at stake here. And our company has 5 core values: integrity, respect, trust, compassion, and stewardship. And when you look at all of these different values, with each other, we do not follow these values. There's oftentimes no respect between street staff and dispatchers. There's lack of trust, lack of compassion, and sometimes stewardship is used to justify why street staff don't think that they should be sent on a call or moved to a different posting locations. In general, though, both dispatchers and street staff are after the same thing. They just disagree about how to get there. And we're painting a bit of a rough picture here, but really when it comes down to it, and when things are going south, I see these two groups work together seamlessly. A lot of this really has to do with the day-to-day stuff, understanding why we do what we do. So the history of all of this, the existence of all of this, really has to do. You look back over years and years of this relationship. There's always been issues with regards to who knows more than the other, who's doing the right thing, and part of the issue really comes down to is both sides understanding the other side. So dispatchers understanding street staff, how they do things, and street staff understanding how dispatchers do things. And how we can accomplish this is by getting together and talking through some of these issues and trying to come up with better ways to communicate, better ways to put deployment plans together, things like that. So in the resolution with meaning, we need to work to understand how and why dispatchers and street staff do what they do. We need to understand each other's point of views. We need to work on upholding the company's core values and the integrity piece, respecting each other's like we do our patients and our communities and hospitals, trusting each other, showing compassion towards each other like we do to our patients and our communities, and working on stewardship as well. As far as mission goes, we need to reinforce the mission. We need to make sure that this is upfront and visible to our staff, both dispatchers and street staff. They understand it, and they are both working towards the same goal, but we need to reinforce it and even put more emphasis on it so that they strive to work towards having a better relationship to uphold this mission. So for the resolution of power, simply just need to have more conversations about why we're doing what we're doing. Need to try to work together to resolve misunderstandings between street staff and dispatchers, and need to have management deal with negative radio and phone traffic, so dealing with individuals and holding them accountable for their actions. So resolution and structure. Need to try to work to build less complex deployment plans so it's easier for the dispatchers to follow and hopefully make less mistakes when following these deployment plans. Having management follow corrective action for those that continue to struggle to try to work together, holding them accountable again for their actions and what they're doing. So resolution with resources. We need to put the time and energy into building stronger relationships between dispatchers and street staff, and how we can do that is to have regular meetings to help strengthen the relationships and understand each other's views on different issues. So for the resolution fulfillment part of the action wheel, the benefit to our organization by
trying to resolve these issues between our street staff and our dispatchers is that this is going to build better relationships between the two. We're going to have more engaged employees so that they can go out and provide better care for the communities that we serve.